The London Evening Standard are reporting this afternoon that, in fact, I don't know, why is an evening paper reporting anything in the afternoon? Hey, it's a technicality. Don't worry about it. We'll let it pass. They are reporting that David Moyes has left a lot of his first team players in London. Not accidentally, obviously. He meant to do it. He didn't drive off without them. I think, you know what? He's driving up there going, oh, I've forgotten something here. Damn, it's the first team squad. No, he's left a lot of players in London, which only means one thing, and that's that we are going to see a rotated squad. That's the nice way of saying it, isn't it? It's the accurate way. It's an under-strength squad to face Lincoln City in the Carabao Cup this evening. Now, I think that obviously contradicts the video that I uploaded earlier, which was David Moyes is going to take this seriously. I still think he is. I just think he's taking everything seriously. And looking at the fixture congestion, which is obviously, you know, Premier League, European football, followed by another Premier League game, followed by another European game, you can't continually play 2 games a week with the same player. So I do sort of get it. The names that the newspaper, quick pit stop, was suggesting are being left in London: James Ward-Prowse, Jarrod, Bowen, Lucas Paqueta, Michael Antonio, Alphonse Areola, Emerson Palmieri. I never call him that. Don't just call him good old Emerson. And Kurt Zouma. Don't blame him, actually. Don't blame him at all. But he does deny himself the option to bring those players off the bench, clearly, because they're going to be sort of a couple of 100 miles away, aren't they, really? So I don't blame him for doing that. In fact, if I was to pick a number of players who I would think should be rested, it would be those guys as well. What this is going to do is going to afford an opportunity to some other players, and I hope this really does include some of the youngsters. Now, there's been a bit of a stir created today because the club tweeted a picture of Callum Marshall training with the first team. It's actually quite, if you go and look at it, it's on West Ham's Twitter page, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have tweeted it, or whatever it's called now. It's not called Twitter. They X'd about it, or maybe they're crowing about it. Whatever they're doing, they put it on their Elon Musk social media page thingy. But the picture, so it said training with the first team, and there's a Callum Marshall there, and he's like that. Honestly, he looks a bit dejected. They could have picked a better picture. I bet he's not dejected at all. I bet he's thrilled that he's just signed a new deal, hasn't he, Callum Marshall? He's brilliant. A couple of people say, "Oh, Don, you went a bit too far, didn't you, when you described him as the best, whatever I said, the best left-footed finisher I've seen since Robbie Fowler." He's good. I mean, he's really good. He's that good. 11 goals so far this season in 6 under 21 games. Lots of assists as well, by the way. I might have my figures slightly skewed there, but I ain't out by a lot. 2 of those goals were scored against Bristol Rovers, actually. And the first touch, it was, you know, Bowen's goal against Brighton received a lot of praise, a lot of credit, rightly so. Bloody good goal. This one was like that, but from the other side of the pitch, nothing like it at all, I guess. But it took the first touch, and it was a really smart finish, is what I mean. It was, you know, possibly even better than Bowen. So this is a really, really good player, and he's caught my eye. So I hope he gets to feature. I guess we will, and I guess we will see him. What we are also going to see, aside from hopefully a smattering of youngsters, obviously we want to see Mubama again. The reason I'm not talking about him is myself and Gio did a whole video talking about him. Go and check that out over on the main channel, and we spoke about Mubama in the preview. So yes, we've spoken extensively about him. This was just an opportunity to speak about Marshall. There are a couple of other players I'd like to see feature as well. I'd love to see Earthy play. I think that's somebody I'd like to see Orford play like this. We're not going to see Casey, and do you know what? I can understand that, because I do think you need to play Mavropanos. Whilst we would like to see the youngsters, there's going to be an absolute need to see some of the whatever. Let's call them the second string. We don't have to be politically correct around here, right? Let's call them the second string players, right? The reserves. The crappy ones. I'm joking. But I do think there's a need to play some of these first-team players in this one. So I think it was quite telling that in that list of players he left behind, Agurd wasn't on there. Agurd needs some confidence. If Moyes is going to carry on playing him, he needs to get him to find his form from somewhere. And he also needs to give Mavropanos the opportunity to sort of take Agurd's place if possible. So that's going to be very interesting to see that. It's quite noticeable, actually. He's left Emerson at home in London, but he's taking Soufal, which I don't know what the situation was with Cresswell there. I don't know if he's still injured for this one. There was suggestions that he didn't look well. He didn't look great, did he? Let's be fair, he wasn't playing great. And once he got injured, it did not look good at all. So what we're going to see there, I'd imagine we're more likely to see Ben Johnson. And I can understand that ahead of Ollie Scholes because we need to learn. We need to learn whether Ben Johnson is ready to step up and play in there. Kera's going to need a game. There's going to be plenty of people that need a game. Now, the other one I heard was that you might well see Connor Coventry playing in this game. Again, we probably do need to find out we're only one injury away from having to use Connor Coventry on the bench for every game. And if he's on the bench, a set of circumstances could present themselves where we might have to use him. Let's find out now. Not to find out what he can do. You'd imagine that there would be no surprises coming from Connor Coventry. You'd sort of hope that David Moyes and his coaching team know everything there is to know about Connor Coventry. However, you never know. We want to see if he's up to form, if he's up to fitness, and to get him just play in the rhythm of playing with some of his teammates. So I think that's really, really important at all. Of course, there are other players as well. Whilst we do want to see these youngsters, whilst we do want to see these guys who maybe can't get into the team, some people, they made this point with Mavropanos, the same with Kudus. Kudus not only needs to play, he needs to give himself the opportunity to force his way into that starting lineup ahead of the Sheffield United game. This is really, really important. Maybe we'll deal with the Sheffield United game in I was going to say in a different video, probably in the Sheffield United preview. You heard it here first. I suspect, just no spoilers on that one, it might be a slightly more difficult game than many of us are anticipating. I think it's easy to look at a team that have lost 8-0 and think, hold on a second, we're going to turn these guys over. And sometimes it's the worst time to play a team like that, I think. I don't know what's going to happen. Fornals, is he going to play? There's a whole host of things. There's reasons to play Fornals and Coventry and Ben Johnson. There's reasons not to. Obviously, the reasons to play them, I've already explained. The reasons not to, well, they're leaving. So maybe actually might be better off finding out if Scholes can play at left back with the first team. Might be better off finding out if George Earthy can play in Fornals' position. You get the idea. And then it comes to Danny Ings. Danny Ings probably needs to form. Let's be fair, whether you like it or whether you don't like it, Danny Ings gets used for West Ham. He does. David Moyes uses him. And he's got a really good attitude. And I think he's really well liked within the club. Not Danny Ings' fault that he doesn't suit the manager's style of play. Well, maybe it is a little bit. Maybe you would think that he or his advisors might have checked it out before signing. Maybe he's not unhappy. Maybe he's happy. I just didn't ever feel when he signed from Aston Villa, I thought he was moving for first team football. That's what it felt like. And I could have told him, you could have told him, you won't get it at West Ham. So I don't know. But anyway, irrespective of what we think, if David Moyes is going to use him, we need a fit and sharp Danny Ings. Obviously, look, 3 into 2 doesn't fit, and that's assuming he's going to play 2 up front. So I'd like to see Mubama, and I'd like to see Callum Marshall. I'd like to see all of them. So I think it's important actually we see Ings, Marshall and Mubama. I think it's important we see all of them at some point. But also I think for Marshall, just going back and just to finish with him, you sign a new deal and it's actually quite important. Then I think after you've done that, he's already got the boost. He's already going to be on a high because of it. I think if you can then add to that elation by saying, well, there you go, mate, you're going to play in a senior game in the EFL Cup, or whatever it's called, and Carabao, Cup, League Cup, who cares, right? Anyway, you're going to go and play in the League Cup. We'll just stick to that, I think. Then that's going to be an additional boost for him. I think we'll probably round off a really, really good week for the lad. But, it's a mega, mega talented player, by the way. So do you know what? I was just about to say, I can't wait to see him play. I'm not going to see him play. Well, unless you're going. You're not going to see him play, but if you do go, you can send me in a video if you want. That'd be nice. We put it up on the channel. Tell us what we haven't seen, quite frankly. But I'll be looking forward to hearing about Callum Marshall. How weird is that? I'll probably end up seeing more footage from the EFL Trophy game that the under-21s played against Bristol Rovers than we'll end up seeing the senior team playing in the Carabao Cup against Lincoln City. It's weird. The whole thing's weird. Anyway, it's not on TV, by the way. Gio was right. We had a breakfast show on Patreon this morning, so we have this every season, every single season. We have this thing where there's hurriedly people saying, "Oh, I can find it. I can see it. And, you can view it here," and we scramble around for it, and you don't ever get to see it, basically. So I'm resigned to not seeing it. So I guess we'll have a little chat tomorrow about what we think we've heard, and if somebody does kindly want to send in a video, do a little review, it would be very, very much appreciated. But I don't expect it anyway. Join myself and Gio at 6:40 for the build-up show. Charlie's not going to be... Charlie got to do a watch-along. He's not doing a listen-along either. But what you do have later on the main channel, Charlie will be doing a live watch-along of the draw. So the draw for the next round, it's the third round, is it? Draw for the fourth round is later on this evening, about 10 o'clock or something like that. So you can join Charlie for that. He'll be watching someone... Oh, do you know what? I was going to do a balls in a bag analogy. I'm not going to bother. I'll leave you to it. Let's be fair. It's early in the afternoon, isn't it? Unless you're reading the Evening Standard, of course.